going on to your seat? I'm Rick. This is your seat table. We got Gray and White Mama up here trying to bogart the damn table. I am trying to look at delaying fighting ships, and I know, Mama. I know. Okay, I know. But you've been up here for an hour now. Give me a frickin' break. And nope, here she comes, right back up in here. You're just relentless, aren't you? So we got warships, massive R, blah blah blah. So at the end of the day, what we got here is that warships were like the premier warfighting vessel or entity prior to battle mechs. And although the battle mechs are quote the king of the battlefield, there was an era in the SLD or the Star League era specifically that warships ruled. And there were quite a few of them. And as game canon, over time, the various succession wars, we've seen the Inner Sphere lose 99.9% of their warship capacity. And the very few that were remaining were hidden mostly by Comstar, and because they didn't want to reinstigate another warship Cold War, if you will. It wasn't until the reappearance or the arrival of the clans and the fact that they brought warships with them. It should be noted that this is something that gets played down, but when the Wolf Strike Inns, for example, originally showed up in the Inner Sphere to conduct their reconnaissance in force, they'd actually included several warships in their fleet, but they'd wisely left them hidden in a mothball location. It wasn't until after the clan's arrival that they go and retrieve them, my understanding anyway. So at the point though, at no point in any of the modern history has there been any significant numbers of warships available to the Inner Sphere or the clans or anybody. In part because that's how the game system, the game designers wanted it to be. But that doesn't mean from a player perspective that that has to hold true. I've always been a proponent that there were not like jump ships, that we don't have nearly sufficient amount of jump ships to justify the in-game canon movement and economies of these star-spanning empires. So that the actual numbers must be much higher than what the game purports them to be. So why not have the same issue with the warships? So another thing is that you see a lot of warship designs, but very few that are actually truly new and innovative. For the most part, they're just rebuilt, rehashed earlier Starleague designs, and is what it is. Of course, now with this particular book, of course, I run into that same problem where I got to flip the damn pages back and forth. We get into the Fedressa class Corvette. The artwork is fantastic. And Whirlwind class. So most of these are going to revisit existing ship designs, and or we'll give you a second Mark II version where that suggests where they would again could have went had the progression continued the way it was supposed or was planning to go development wise. So we got the Lola 3 class destroyer here. Most of these are familiar designs. Black Lion, yeah, the Liberator class heavy cruiser. There's a couple in here that are definitely new to the fan base canon. If the non-canon canon is in my mind, but nothing earth-shattering. The majorities of the Camerons, the Night Lords, all existing designs. Texas class, McKenna Fleet class, Leviathan 2 heavy battleship, you know, the Fox class Corvette. We start introducing it into the house designs and things like this. I don't think the house has developed nearly as many designs as what I would like to have seen, but it makes sense that they had to rebuild everything from the scratch. The shipyards, the factory capacity, everything had to be built from scratch or rebuilt, and this would limit the amount of designs coming out the gate early on, but over time, you would think you would see a progression of a wide range of warship classes that are indicative of the specific houses that were building them. And obviously, the bigger houses are going to have a larger fleet than the smaller just because of economics, things like this. But at the same time, we don't see a whole lot of that. There's none of it in game. So to see some new stuff come up once in a while is always nice. Most of this, though, is like I said, rehashed, revisited material that's in here, and like the artwork's awesome. I'm telling you that right now, without a doubt. So we got the Goalkeeper Mark IV defense crap. Some nice newer, smaller craft in here. The Pleiades space fighter, named after a star system I can't pronounce. Trader class heavy freight shuttle, always nice. Fearless class assault ship. Black Watch observation vessel. Yeah, right. I'd like to see another source book on expanded drop ships. I really would. I'd like to see one that would include things like passenger liners and tankers and all the variety of things that you would expect to see in such a wide-ranging economy that would be required to move. Then we get into a couple that the Onslaught class assault frigate. I believe this is one that was a fan base that they created. The Endeavor class exploration vessel. This was another one too, and I found this one really fascinating because it really it kind of fills a niche that never got addressed very well. And I thought that it ought to have had more to it. The Endeavor class explorer here. 500,000 ton displacement, 423 crew, can carry 12 small craft and 2 drop shift collars. Yes. Now, of course, Mama right back up here, of course. Yeah. So, some really nice artwork to be expected from Mr. Pluggy, if I'm pronouncing it right. Right. 2016. This Ark Royal class heavy fleet carrier. The Labyrinth class mobile repair yard is another one of these designs that I believe is new that they came up with themselves, which is awesome. The Peterson class naval station, once again, that's another thing we don't see enough of in my mind. This one here is pretty brilliant because it's actually very modular in its design, so you can keep adding more sections to it and make it bigger and bigger and bigger and to suit your needs. Mostly, as you can see, it's for naval repair, maintenance, perhaps even construction. Uh, and these things would be invaluable. The fact that Inner Sphere should have been full of these kind of stations and stuff at the highlight of the Star League, I think it gets underplayed in my mind. It's really or I really wish they would do a little bit more with it. Anyway, this is Rick. Mama's here. You can't see her because she's right here, and she's didn't go far. Yes, I know you're fine. Anyway, till next time. And just this is definitely well worth getting. If I remember, I'll put a link to where you can get the free